Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from the brand ORLY. So I have their Summer 2022 collection, which is called Pop, and then I have their Summer Jelly releases. So there are 4 in the Jellies, and then there are 6 in the Pop collection. In the description box, I will link the ORLY site and Instagram page. I will link the HB Beauty Bar site and Instagram page, and then I will link my Instagram page where you can see more swatches of everything in today's video. I do also have a discount code with HB Beauty Bar. It will be here on the screen as well as in the description. Side note, it is potentially a affiliate code, so if you don't feel comfortable using that, totally understand. So we do have 10 polishes to look at today, and let's go ahead and get started. So starting with their Pop collection, this one is Connect the Dots. It's described as a candy apple red cream, but it definitely leans pink in my opinion. So here's our first coat of Connect the Dots. This one does cover pretty well here on this first coat. It is a cream, but it does have a kind of jelly-like feel to it. I did get full opacity in 2 thin coats. I didn't have any kind of running, pooling, or staining. This is going to dry fairly glossy all on its own. If you want your manicure to last a little bit longer, you can top it off with a nice glossy top coat. So there are 2 coats of Connect the Dots. Next up we have Claim to Fame, and this one is described as a marigold yellow cream. Here is our first coat of Claim to Fame. This one does cover really well on this first coat. I got full opacity in 2 coats depending on your nail length and your application. This is one that you might need 3. I didn't have any kind of substantial staining on this one, but it is one of those colors that have the tendency to stain, so I recommend using a base coat. There are 2 coats. Up next we have Rinse and Repeat, and this one is described as a cerulean blue cream. Here's our first coat of Rinse and Repeat. This covers really well here on this first coat. I got full coverage once again in just 2 coats. A wonderful formula to work with, no running, pooling, or staining. Again, this is going to dry fairly glossy all on its own, though I recommend top coat to protect your manicure. So there are 2 coats of Rinse and Repeat. Up next we have Crash the Party, and this one is described as a deep violet purple. In my opinion, it is more of a bright grape purple. Here's our first coat of Crash the Party. I actually was really impressed with this one. I feel like these tones of purples that I have seen lately have all been sheer streaky jellies, so I got full coverage in 2 coats and I was really happy with this. It does dry on the dull-ish side, so I recommend top coat and no staining, so there are 2 coats. Next up we have Don't Pop My Balloon, and this one is described as a fuchsia shimmer. Here's our first coat of Don't Pop My Balloon. This one is very opaque here on this first coat, virtually a 1-coater but not quite there. I did have some brush strokes through this while it was wet, and not all of those dissipated as it dried, so just bear that in mind and work in as straight a strokes as possible. You'll want top coat. Nothing is going to dry textured or be difficult to remove, so there are 2 coats. Lastly, from this collection, we have Just an Illusion, and this one is described as a golden glitter. It does have some holographic bits to it as well as a champagne-y feel. Here's our first coat of Just an Illusion. Now I opted to use this in 2 coats on its own as opposed to it being a topper, but it can definitely double as a topper if that's what you're wanting to use it for. So again, I did 2 coats. You'll want some top coat. It is going to dry with a kind of sandy-ish finish to it, and removal will be very difficult. So there are 2 coats of Just an Illusion. And then moving on to their jellies collection, this one is Poolside, and it is a bright neon pink jelly. Here's our first coat of Poolside. So for these next 4, all of the jellies, I am going to show you 2 coats. You can still make out some nail line, but I do think that's the intention of a jelly polish, so that's how I'm keeping it instead of building it up to full opacity. Formula on this is excellent. What I do look for in jellies is that they're not patchy and not streaky, and this one covered those boxes, so I am happy, and it will dry glossy. So there are 2 coats of Poolside. This one is Sweetheart, and it is a bright cherry red jelly. I'm not sure if this is actually part of the collection because it does have a wrapping around the cap, but it is a jelly and it did come with the set. So I'm not sure if it's new or if it's a re-release. Here's our first coat of Sweetheart, probably my favorite of the jelly finishes in this collection. I really enjoy a red jelly. I feel like every glitter that you put in between them just looks really, really good, so I'm happy to have this one in my collection. Again, I did 2 coats. I didn't have full coverage, but I was happy with it, and it will dry nice and glossy. Next up we have Ray of Sunshine, and this is an orangey yellow jelly. Here is our first coat of Ray of Sunshine. Something strikes me usually really wrong with a yellow jelly, but this one does have orangey undertones to it, so I actually really enjoyed this one. Again, I did 2 coats and can still make out my nail line, but I do think that's the purpose of a jelly, and this one will also dry glossy. So there are 2 coats of Ray of Sunshine. And lastly for today we have Make Waves, and this one is a deeper blue jelly. And here's our first coat of Make Waves. This is probably my least favorite of the jellies. I feel like it was just the most patchy and most streaky, just not a totally even application. I do feel like if I'd worked it a little bit more, I could probably have gotten it a little bit better, but definitely not jelly perfection. So again, I did stop at 2 coats, and it will dry nice and glossy all on its own. So there are 2 coats of Make Waves. And guys, that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these polishes. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up, and let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time.